Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Nina's Chelsea Corner. If you're new round here, we've won it all, guys. Officially, Chelsea win the Conference League to add the last European trophy to the set. We've won it all. 4-1 against Real Betis on the night. A comeback as well. Left it for the second half just to make things a tad more dramatic, as we like to do in Chelsea fashion. But nevertheless, guys, got it done. It's happy days. These boys, I'm so glad for them. I'm so happy. And I said yesterday, this may not mean that much to fans because we have seen Chelsea teams of the past lift the very best out there. But for this young group of players, who many of which haven't won anything and haven't even touched silverware, trust me, to them, that trophy means everything. So can't not be happy for them. It's a step in the right direction. It's fulfilling the expectations that we set out with at the start of the season. We've secured Champions League football and we won a trophy. We won the tournament that we were pretty much favourites to win from day one anyway. But on the occasion, on the night where it mattered most, getting ourselves over the line, having that shift of mentality, which we will talk about in the second half, it was, a great job done. So soak it up, Chelsea fans. Everyone out in Poland looks like they're having an absolutely grand time. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get into a bit of a match review. Obviously, a lot of emotions yesterday. I did do a live stream briefly after just to sort of get my initial thoughts, but now that I've slept on it, I realised just how great that second half really was, even more so. Just to take that performance in isolation, there was so much fight, and I almost think that going 1-0 down actually woke us up in that game. Obviously paired with Maresca's substitutions, he rectified mistakes that he made when selecting the starting 11, which proved to add to our difficulties in the first half and why we did go 1-0 down. But let's kind of take it from the very beginning. Let's talk about the starting 11, because Enzo Maresca surprised us all by leaving Reece James out of the lineup. Now, I know he alluded to the fact that there would be rotation from the Nottingham Forest game, but I thought, we're playing Real Betis. This is the first test really in this competition, and technically have to overcome them just to grab that trophy, because let's be real, we've pretty much breezed through the competition. But we knew that Real Betis, they've got some great players. They have got obviously a great manager as well. They're very well coached and have had a really good journey since Pellegrini took over. So, it was never going to be very easy from the get-go to play a team that, is playing their first European final and is going to win their first European final. So I think, it was really strange to see that Reece James didn't start from the get-go, because we need our captain in this final, and not just our captain, but we need our best right back in the team. And, I think the very fact that Malo Gusto started, not so much a problem with the actual player, but it's the way that he is utilised, which has seemed to be a big contributing factor to his regression this season, because we saw a very different Malo Gusto last season, and he just is a shadow of himself. So that was one of the decisions that we all kind of went when we saw the lineup. And apart from that, for me, everything else was as expected. I just really was wondering why Maresca made that decision. I know he's been managing his minutes well. Did he think that maybe we could still do a job and then just have to just to bring Reece James on should anything go wrong, as it did. But then one of the other justifications I sort of found for that decision was that obviously Malo Gusto was the inverted one. We know that doesn't really work with him. It tends to work with Cucurella, but I think the reason Maresca didn't do that with Cucurella last night was because Cucurella was doing a job at keeping Anthony at bay on that flank, and you could see that a lot of their threat was coming down that left hand side. It really wasn't out on the right, and Gusto was exposed massively because it took just one mistake, it took just one moment of him getting ran through, leaving all that space in behind. That was even just too much for Chalobah and Tosin to cover as well, and Badiashile to cover as well. So yeah, it was yeah, it was a hard watch, guys. That first half was a hard watch, and we instantly saw. And at minute 20, after I'd seen enough from Gusto, I literally said to Dad, Maresca just needs to be cutthroat here and sub him off here and now, because Betis looked like they were going to score again. In those opening minutes, they were all over us. They were absolutely all over us, and I think, you know, we were second best to them in every regard. Isco was a level above, a category above all of the players on the pitch in that first half, and you know, it really just showed how eager those guys were to just come out and get at us, because we wanted to get a feel for the ball a little bit first. We wanted to string a few passes before making any kind of direct direct runs at goal, because we just didn't actually have any opportunities. But Betis came out, and honestly, they could have scored another goal in that first half, maybe even two. So we were quite lucky, because again, it's one thing overturning a 1-0 deficit, it's a whole other thing overturning 2 or 3 in the second half. So yeah, but that's enough on the first half. We're not going to dwell on it too much, because things really changed in that second half. Maresca clearly said things at half time. He made the substitute that we were all calling for in the first half. He brought Reece James on, he brought our captain on, and that really was the point of difference for me. You could absolutely see how there was a new almost life injected to that side in the second half. We literally came out and we were ready to play, and honestly, it was like, right, you've got nothing to lose here now. We need to absolutely go for that equaliser. We were getting bodies forward. We were able to string more passes in the kind of danger areas in their half as well, because in the first half, we were struggling to actually overcome their press to get out of our own half. In the second half, that really changed, and, you know, we just saw this much greater desire to get forward and to try and work something. And that is where we bring in Cole Palmer, our star boy, the player of the match, deservingly on the night, the big game player, Cole Palmer, who is an absolute genius. Creativity, playmaking ability, mentality, it's all there, isn't it? And again, he was our source of inspiration. An absolutely perfectly pinpoint cross for Enzo Fernandez's almost textbook centre forward header as well. Like, where has he been? Put him up top every game now. How many headers has Enzo Fernandez scored now? It's just absolutely beyond me. But there it is, it hit the equaliser, and we are absolutely ecstatic. And there it is, it's the quick fire, almost use the momentum of you scoring to go there and get another, because we know that's not enough at that point. So there we are, we're out there for another. And who else? Of course, it's Cole Palmer. Once again, it's Cole Palmer, who does so well to actually go away from, and if you listen to some of his post-match thoughts after the game, which are hilarious, by the way, but he mentioned how he didn't want to turn his body away from his defender and like recycle it back into midfield. He actually wanted to, do you know what, let's surprise and just hope that for once Nicholas Jackson is in his spot in the box rather than somewhere out on the wings with Pedro Neto or Uecl. And there he was. Yeah, great cross. And first I thought it was a header, but it was actually kind of like a shoulder. But I mean, the ball literally hit him and it went in. So like, how much more can you actually do? But really great to get that second goal. And that is where you just saw the complete shift in Betis's approach, because they instantly felt like, you know, they were so desperate to be kind of in control in that first half. And once we scored those 2 goals, it was such a crumble in their again, in their momentum. It was such a crumble in their mentality and such a crumble just in their attitude overall. You could hear that obviously our fans became the louder ones as well. There was a real shift in the atmosphere as well in that ground, because obviously Betis have amazing fans, and up until the 60th minute, they were believing that they might do it that night. They might get it over the line. So absolutely brilliant. And then there's an opportunity for us to go 3-1 up, I think, when Nicholas Jackson we hit Betis on the counter, and Nicholas Jackson is running forward. I believe, was at that point Sancho on the pitch. Sancho was also making a run forward. I can't really actually remember now, guys. But Nicholas Jackson, and you'll know which opportunity I'm referring to, he takes a heavy touch and he basically passes it to the goalkeeper. So those are the moments where with Nicholas Jackson, and again, on a night where we've won a trophy, I don't want to dwell too much on the negatives, but we have to talk about the fact that Nicholas Jackson is, as a number 9, solely first choice, isn't quite good enough, and we've seen that. But these are the moments where you could actually make a difference, and you could be a big game player by scoring opportunities like that to put games to bed, especially in a final. And, you know, I'm always going to go back to that semi-final against Manchester City last year that denied us another final where again he didn't finish big chances. He can score first, but he can't score the big important ones when it matters most. But that's it, that's all I'll say on Jackson. But it was a shame. He could have again been the one that killed it off there and there, but he didn't. Let's just take a moment to talk about the substitutions, because I think Maresca managed the game very well in the second half. The substitutions, again, like against Forest, proved to be very impactful in the sense that, you know, Dewsbury Hall, obviously we know that he set up the goal that followed. Yeah, he did, didn't he? He set up Jadon Sancho, did he? But, you know, Jadon Sancho coming on the pitch, the actual forward line really clicked into chemistry, and there was so much more happening, and we felt a lot more composed. Dewsbury Hall's a player that's been such an integral part of this competition, so to see him get some minutes was great. Jadon Sancho, there is a big question mark over his future at the club, but for that moment, that night, last night, when he scored that superb goal, took his shirt off, you could see how much it meant to him. And I'm absolutely delighted for him, because again, he's a player that came and arrived with just one mission only: to settle in, to fit in, to make an impact. And yeah, I mean, I hope that's not his last appearance for Chelsea. We will obviously see what happens with him, but a superb goal. I honestly, guys, all the goals were great, but that was definitely probably one of the best ones. And then, of course, who else but our lovely player of the year, Moises Caicedo. I mean, last goal by the player of the season. It just is very fitting, isn't it? What a journey he has had, hey, from going and being criticised about his price tag, about how he fits in at Chelsea, how he was just a season wonder at Brighton, etc, etc. Well, there he is. There he is. Honestly, round of applause for Moy. I am absolutely thrilled. Both him and Enzo just deserve all their flowers this season. So, yeah. And if we could round this out, guys, you know, completing the set, but also just so happy for these players to lift that trophy last night, to get their hands on that winning feeling so they can go and crave it again, because next year they're in the big boy competition. And, you know, it might have been easy, and things might, you know, certain games and certain teams in the Conference League would allow you to make mistakes that we did and still get as far as we did and win it. Well, in the Champions League, it's different gravy. That's not going to be allowed. So hopefully, massive summer transfer window ahead, we can equip ourselves better now that these players, you know, have almost grown together again this season. Big step in the right direction. We fulfilled our expectations, so that's a good season. It's not amazing in our standard book as Chelsea fans, but it is brilliant for these players. So super happy. But guys, thank you so much. If you stayed until the very end, please hit the like button, subscribe to Nina's Chelsea Corner. If you'd like to check out my social media, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Those are all linked in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling, and I will see you very soon for a season wrapped video. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely weekend.